Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I have been working all the way up to the last minute. I tell you, sometimes you pull on a thread and you just don't know where it's going to take you. So, let me go ahead and bring my slides up. I think I figured out the problem from yesterday. So, let me hope that that's the right direction. Um, okay, keep your fingers crossed. Here we go. Oh no, wait. Okay, let me try that again. Here we go. I'm too nervous. Ha! Okay. Looks like we got it. All right. I am so glad. Wait, what's that again? There was an issue. Okay, let me try it again. Now, this worked earlier. Wait a little while. I don't think so. Okay. Okay. Come on, StreamYard. Don't do this to me again. Okay. I'm gonna okay, right, you can hear me? So I'm gonna close. Alright, I'm gonna try it again. Alright, there we go. So, that is gonna work just fine. Alright, now who was here first? Fancy, Fancy, thank you so much for being here first. Greatly appreciate it. Um, alright, thank you. Yes, and we got contact. There we go. Rewriting history again. I tell you, I saw something today that just grated on my nerves. I'm like, not again. Yes, again, but I'll show you in a minute. Hey, Connie Balmer, Carol Lunn, Lydia Washington. Oh, it's Puzzle Dot here. Great, great. All right, I'll say hi later on to everyone else. Hey, Heather Stroud. Okay. So, and there we go. Remember, 20% off site wide instead of store wide, site wide. Get it? So, whatever products you buy from as ever, remember you get 20% off. Yeah, you get 20% off. It says first because that was the one that went to everyone per newsletter, and now it's available to everybody else. So, there you go. And speaking of new products, I didn't realize that the Duchess of Sussex has this nifty new page holder. Is that what you call that? A bookmark. There you go. A bookmark page holder. God, I sound like one of the Beverly Hillbillies. Next thing you know, I'm going to be talking about sitting down there by the cement pond or eating at the fancy eating table, also known as the billiard table. Not billiards, billiard. That's how they say it on the Beverly Hillbillies. The billiard, in the billiard room. And to think they thought the billiard was an animal. They thought that the pool sticks were pot passers. Oh my God, that was so funny. They thought the pool sticks were pot passers. So when you eat at the fancy eating table in that billiard room, you use those pot passers so that you can pass the pot to the next person. I don't know. But that was the Beverly Hillbillies. So, like I said, that's a page holder. Most people call it a bookmark. But because I watched the Beverly Hillbillies, that is a page holder. Also, there was a video for that. See there? Where you can see our Duchess doing her fancy calligraphy, right? It's very short. It's only 4 seconds long. Right. She makes it look so easy. It's easy for her. Okay. So anyway, that is what they have there. Now, I don't know if you get that with the honey or not. Is that actually on the site? Do you know I didn't actually look at the site, so I don't know. Did anybody get caught in the snow? If you live in the Midwestern United States, you are probably snowed in. We got what, maybe 6, 10 inches of snow? Anyway, it's a lot. It's beautiful though. It's so beautiful. I love a nice, big, heavy snowfall. Okay, I'm gonna go and take a look up for the bookmark. Yes, I could have done this at any time, but I didn't think about it until now. Okay, I don't see it. Yes, oh, is that it? Or do you get it if you buy something else? Yeah, I don't see it. But I am loving my candles. I'm burning my candles every day, by the way. So maybe they sell those at the pop up store. Maybe. I wonder if there's a journal and a bookmark. Does anybody know? What's that? The bookmark? Really? Archwell has very interesting topics to read. Oh, okay. Well, I usually try to share whenever I see anything. I wonder if I missed something. Oh, the snow. Oh my goodness, I love the snow. I mean, I'm from the Midwest. I'm like a polar bear. I was born on the ice. Yeah, I love it. I love it. It just reminds me of when I was a kid. It reminds me of like Christmas when I was a kid when it was usually snow, but lately we haven't been having much snow. But yes, the beautiful winter, all of the streets are quiet. I mean, you couldn't get mugged on a day like this if you wanted to. uh anyway, so this is the way I saw it yesterday, where the bookmark was in between the honey. So I thought, well, do you get that if you buy the honey or what? But I don't see it anywhere on the site, so I don't know. I don't know. As Ricky Ricardo would say, I don't know, Lucy. I don't know. I don't know, Lucy. Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Lucy, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Okay, so there's this. This cover was a double hit for Harper's. Not only did they score big with Meghan, but all of the magazines were in fierce competition for that jacket. Iconic. Okay, now, you guys, I promise you, I have kept my promise about what's that idiot's name? God, I cannot stand him. Um, Tom Sykes. Yeah, I don't f with Tom Sykes. I have avoided him because he just gets me upset, right? And so, to protect my mental health, which I recommend everyone should do that, to protect my mental health, I have been avoiding him. I was hoping, I was really hoping that he would be a voice of reason because when he first started his Substack, it seemed like he was trying to lure the Sussex squad in with, I don't know, some pretty fair columns here and there. Not a lot, but a few. But he has become quite the asshole. And so I just don't bother with him anymore. I yeah, he's been quite nasty, should I say. And he does a lot to feed his base, the base that he's developing. And as he says, he's been marketing before. He's had some history of marketing. So just like what's the one with those big gums? You know, she got like little tiny teeth and big giant gums. She has more gums per square inch than she has teeth. Anyway, she also has some kind of background in marketing. So, you know what, guys? I know that some of you guys do not care for who is the one that always says she's teaching media literacy. Um, I'll say this about her: at least she's fair. At least she's fair. There are some magazine articles that she has applauded based on their writing, and she doesn't really rate it whether or not the person is being fair to the Sussexes is based on them actually building a case with the article. Okay, I can respect that. Although I would say by and large she is Team Sussex, but she's also an academic, just like Tom Sykes and just like the mouthful of gums. Okay? But the big difference is she's not plotting to destroy the Sussexes, but she, I suppose, is an educator, and maybe she has a PhD or whatever. And so that is her approach to things. Whereas the above mentioned, those two are simply there for the money, period. They are there to stoke the flames of hatred and hostility. They're not there to report the news. They are there to tell you their version of the news. And in some cases, I'm sure they use their burner accounts, if they have one, to create news. So, anyway, that being said, let me, yes, Meredith. Yeah, I'm speaking about Meredith. Matter of fact, you know, she kind of lost me because I think she went over there dealing with those people and got kind of pulled into things. And she seems like she's been a little bit too cozy across the ocean. And I don't know about Meredith, but I think matter of fact spent some time over there. So I don't get down with her no more. She was very cool at first, but I think they got to her. Okay, so anyway, it's not Tom Sykes we're here for. He doesn't do much of the talking. It's actually his sister Plum, who I also think is horrible. But Plum was speaking. Um, well, she gets a little snark in there toward the end, but let me just go ahead and play this. Let me go ahead and get this going.
Harper's Bazaar is it's the other Vogue in America, really. And it's got a great long history as a very, very chic magazine. It's a bit smaller than American Vogue in terms of its kind of reach and stuff, but it is a very classy magazine, so it's as classy. So I think first of all, it's interesting that she chose to be on the cover of Bazaar. I wonder if there was a Vogue option. I think most people take Vogue if there is a Vogue option, so maybe there wasn't. I think she might end up on the cover of Vogue at some point after seeing her at that Balenciaga show, Greeting Anna Wintour. I think that's going to be on the cards, because I think for the magazines, she is just such a talking point. Love her, hate her. We're all talking about this shoe. And I do think that the shoe is completely fascinating. And I particularly think this cover image is super fascinating. So when you're talking about what's it like being on one of these shoots, well, there'll be a lot of people, there'll be a lot of hair and makeup, there'll be a lot of photographers' assistants, stylists, wardrobe people ironing. There would be a manicurist, there'd be someone doing the pedicure, there'd be someone doing the eyebrows. Happy to see you, Patty, as well. And I think it looks like from the behind the scenes stuff that she looked like she was having quite a nice time. You get pampered. Vogue and Bazaar really do it well. They make that person feel like a superstar for that day. It's like a fairy tale. It's like Cinderella. But what I think is really interesting is that she's wearing Dior on the cover. Right. And she's wearing the bar jacket, BAR, which stems from when Mr. Dior launched his first collection after the war, after there'd been rationing and everything. He launched this jacket called the bar jacket, which was part of the new look, and it had this famously nipped-in waist, soft shoulder, and of course then it had the very wide skirt, which was full of voluminous amounts of fabric, and it was a reaction to the war, and it became this iconic jacket, which they have run through every single collection. The interesting thing about this particular bar jacket is that it was designed by Jonathan Anderson, who's the new designer at Dior. He is the hottest designer in the world right now, apart from Thomas Blasi at Chanel. And this jacket would have been as hard to get for the cover as getting Meghan for the cover, because every single magazine would have wanted to photograph the new Jonathan Anderson interpretation of the bar jacket for their cover. So the jacket is as much of a star as Meghan, and it's just been reworked, it's been reinvented, it's much more modern, it's got this kind of like soft bow and everything, and it's a serious statement about take me seriously, because Dior clothes, they have this seriousness about them, which is sort of in them when you put them on, like you can feel it. They're so constructed, they're so couture, they're so expensive, they're like the real deal. It's like Chanel, Dior, Balenciaga, those right. Paris houses. You mean business. You're kind of trying to intimidate.
Right. That's
if you showed up at a business meeting,
Yeah. So really, so there's competition to get the first view of a specific piece of clothing in a fashion magazine as much as getting the star as well.
Yes, so getting an exclusive on Meghan for her show, which I'm assuming this is what it is. They've also got the exclusive first look at that jacket, which only debuted on the runway a few weeks ago in Paris. So they're running it very early because it's actually spring, summer. And it's also that thing of like, we've got it before anyone else. And all the magazines are in competition with each other for getting the clothes as well as the celebrities. So they've got a kind of dual problem. They can't just put someone on the cover in a dressing gown like Marilyn Monroe and think that's going to do it. It's got to be an iconic piece of clothing as well. And I think actually they have achieved it with this. And then what I also think is interesting is that with that quite severe jacket and that quite severe look, she looks like she's got no makeup on. She will have makeup on because otherwise she would look completely washed out. But the look is the no makeup look, which is very fashionable among celebrities right now. It's almost telegraphing, I'm a natural beauty, I haven't done anything, I haven't had a facelift, I haven't whatever, and I'm really showing you me. who am I? And I think that she looks quite sort of girlish and young in that picture. I mean, I'm not sure if I'd want to be on the cover of Bazaar with absolutely, well, virtually no makeup on, but it's a choice. It's a look, you know. Well, Harper's Bazaar.
Okay, so there's that little snark at the end. There's that little snark at the end. As I said, well, she looked kind of girly. I don't know if I would want to be. Oh, I was about to. I'm okay. I'm not going to say that. I was about to say go to hell, but I'm not going to say it. Yeah. So just a little snark at the end. But otherwise, you know, I know that it probably would not bring the desired level of interest, the type of money that they want to make. I'm being polite by saying interest. But God, I could just listen to someone speaking fairly and balanced about Meghan all day. But I just don't have patience for the snarky stuff. I don't like when someone as educated as Tom Sykes cup his hand over his mouth and rock back and forth in the chair like something is so funny and it's not even funny to him. Like, oh, I just can't. I just can't. But you are, and it looks silly. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you, was just a little bit of information about how these cover stories happen and what's involved with it. But again, it would not have been enough to just tell the story. She had to get a little snarky at the end, as though she's insulting a 43, 44-year-old woman by telling her she looks girly. Do you think you're insulting someone over 40 by telling them that you still look very girly? How is that an insult? It was meant as a put down, but it just doesn't track, because I think a lot of people would love to, you know, not necessarily look like a teenager, but they would definitely enjoy being mistaken on occasion for someone half their age at least. So there you go. So that was Plum Sykes. That's Tom Sykes' sister. She doesn't seem to have inherited that big snaggletooth Brer Rabbit mouth that he has. Also, she doesn't seem to have that kind of twangy. You ever notice how twangy and piercing his voice is? I mean, he almost whines when he speaks, you know? I mean, he does have a bit of a cartoon voice. I would say he has a bit of a cartoon voice. And then, of course, that snaggled. Notice that his picture is always darker than his guest. He must have heard me say something about that unfortunate snaggle tooth of his. Yeah. I mean, that one tooth is what's lifting his top lip. That one tooth is what's lifting his top lip up. His top lip cannot rest properly because he's got that one tooth. And, you know, it's not even on one side. It's so big it has centered itself. His teeth are so bad it look like Vanna White forgot to turn a couple of them. That's how bad they look. Anyway, I think Tom Sykes and his sister are both a couple of upstarts, and they probably got one of those great public school educations. They probably exceeded the expectation that was given to most kids in their community, and now they are identifying with the royal family. Yeah. I guess the caste system, or the aristocracy, whatever you want to call it, I guess it is still firmly in place and it still works. Because you got people as small as those two looking up. They're craning their necks to look up at the some of the laziest, most inconsequential people you'll ever find, like a Kate Middleton or Billy Windsor. By the way, I'm going to go back here. I just did a little searching. That bookmark, it says here, shop our honeydew and leather bookmark holiday bundle exclusively at Godmother's Books for a limited time. Now, I went to the Godmother site. They do have a website, and I do not see it. I do not see it. So I don't know if you have to go into the store to get it or what. But let me see. It's a leather bookmark, and it has Meghan's calligraphy on it. So yeah, you would be quite fortunate if you can get your hands on one of those. But otherwise, I do not see it. Okay, I'm looking under gifts. I see little tote bags and stuff like that. I do not see that leather bookmark. Now, I'd love one of those. Oh, that is nice. An artist sketchbook. A Klimt The Kiss artist sketchbook. That's pretty nice. Anyway, you guys should check out the website just the same because they have some really interesting stuff. I find that specialty stores have some of the most interesting gifts. One of my favorite places to shop for gifts is at the museum stores. Some of those museums have the nicest products available, things that you cannot find anyplace else. Some of the most interesting things. Yeah, I'm looking through, you guys. I do not see it. And you know what? This stuff is not very expensive. I'm looking through their site right now. It's not very expensive. You know, sometimes those specialty gift shops, they can really hit you in the pocket. Oh, wow. And they let you know how many of the items they have in stock. Ah, okay. Very interesting. They got little night lights and stuff. Anyway, they have 182 items, I believe. And I'm guessing they're out of those bookmarks because I do not see them. Wow. Yep, no bookmarks. Oh, man. I wonder if we missed it. Or do you have to go into the store for it? Yes, we missed that boat, you guys. We missed it. Oh, really? Let me see. Oh, did you now? You must have wore out the other one, huh? Okay. Hey, Lex, thanks for joining us. Okay, well, I don't see it anymore. Wow, that would have been so cool. That would have been so cool. Well, they said for a limited time. Okay, I just I looked at the subject. I push the little check mark for bookmark. They only got one bookmark, and it's not that one. Ah, rats. Oh, well. Okay, so we missed out. But you know what? They're going to order some more. They got to order some more. Yeah, I'd love to have something with Meghan's calligraphy on it. Well, aside from wine labels and such, something like that would be really cool. All right, so let's continue. Anyway, that is the bar jacket. What was it? BAR, the bar jacket. That is beautiful. It looks exquisite on the Duchess of Sussex. Now, these two misfits, it looks like Duchess Sophie and Prince Edward wrap up warm to enjoy a day at the races. As it emerges, he only pays peppercorn rent on their 120-room Surrey mansion. Well, is this the new thing? Every time they mention Edward and Sophie, they're going to remind people about that peppercorn rent. Well, that's better than every time you mention Sophie that you remind people that she tried to sell access to that fake chic, or that she what's that her company, her PR firm went bankrupt. Or you could remind her about that trip where she was rushing to get tea, and well, the worst happened. Some poor old lady got nailed crossing the street. Or there's a whole bunch of those things that you could remind them about, but I guess the house is going to have to suffice for now. But yeah, it has been brought to our attention that, oh, what's that? Yes, well, congratulations to Lady Louisa. And yeah, well, they do need money, but I think Hazel Jones said they make a fortune off of their estate. They if you look at the layout of what is the name of it? Bangkok, whatever the name of that house is, estate. They are making money from rentals. They got cottages and everything else there. So they're making a fortune from that estate. So they do have money, especially when you ain't really paying rent. And as for the peppercorn, I wonder if the money, well, why am I wondering? We know Queen Elizabeth paid the initial, what was it, £5 million to get them into that house. Let me see. I have it right here. Prince Edward's peppercorn rental deal at, oh, it's Bagshot Park has been branded obscene just weeks after it was revealed that Andrew, the sick old man, had a similar setup at Royal Lodge. Crown Estate documents show how the Duke of Edinburgh pays merely token rent for Bagshot Park, his 51-acre residence near Bracknell, following a £5 what am I saying? £5, £5 million advance payment in 2007. His mama paid that. His mama paid £5 million. The revelation has sparked criticism that the property represents a taxpayer-funded subsidy for King Charles's younger brother, as the Crown Estate revenues ordinarily flow to the public purse. Campaigners argue that Bagshot Park Estate could generate substantial income if leased commercially, questioning why the 15th in line to the throne received such a favorable terms for the property he has occupied for a quarter of a century. Prince Edward's 2007 agreement, executed through his company, Eclipse Nominees Limited, secured the 150-year lease on the Grade 2 listed property. The arrangement permits the Duke to potentially profit from selling the lease, with the sole requirement being that any future occupant must demonstrate financial capacity for the mansion's upkeep. This contrasts specifically with Andrew, the Sick Old Man, which restricts who can inherit Royal Lodge to just Sarah Ferguson and their daughters, Eugenie and Beatrice. Lease contains no such familial limitations for his wife, the Duchess of Edinburgh, for their children, Lady Louisa and James, Earl of Wessex. Despite the criticism, the Duke of Edinburgh regularly uptakes domestic and overseas engagements as a senior working royal. The Crown Estate maintains the £5 million premium underwent market testing before approval, with usage restrictions that is aligned to the estate's historical charter. Supporters of the Duke argue that long leases are standard practice for the Crown Estate, that upfront premiums can offset future rental value. However, Edward continues to pay only peppercorn rent, a purely nominal sum, effectively meaning negotiable ongoing payments for the Victorian era residence. So the £5 million, let's say that was a deposit of £5 million. And now he's paying next to nothing for the rest of his natural born life. And if he wants out of it sooner, he is able to sell the remainder of the lease to someone else. That's why it's so difficult to get people out of those properties. When they have those long leases like that, you have to buy them out. It's like owning a condominium. It's like owning a property in some what is it, HOA or whatever. But it's like a very feudal era type of lease. So yeah, the Crown Estate has been leasing properties like that for a very long time. Thank you for your comment. Leg says, what is that asymmetric bow? Bows that in that family. You're talking about that thing lopped over her shoulder like that? I don't know. They seem to get off on that, though. Thank you for your comment. Yeah. I think maybe she's trying to keep up with Kate. What a weird coat. It is kind of weird. I mean, in a way, given the color and everything, it is a bit like a military, kind of rustic, kind of like walking your country estate coat, except it flares out too much to be practical. And then you got that weird bow on it. It is kind of weird. But, people come up with the darndest outfits and they know she'll buy it because she's always trying to be edgy and interesting with that little stocky body of hers. Okay. And then take a look at there. Is she hanging out with Andrew Lloyd Webber? Look at there, the one on the right, and that picture right there. Now, if I wasn't paying attention, I would have probably missed this, but that is Andrew Lloyd Webber. Do you think he's making a musical about Edward and Sophie. Do you think they're making like a Evita type of musical? Don't cry for me, Andrew Windsor. The truth is, I'm keeping my lease. It's a peppercorn. So please don't mourn. I'm taking advantage of my old mother. I took advantage of my old mother. Yeah, something like that. But instead of like having the woman dress up in that gown and stand on the balcony, I think Edward is going to try to be very progressive and he'll stand out there on that balcony, gown and all. But yeah, so I think she's probably trying to sell her story to Andrew Lloyd Webber. They're going to have like a musical version of the fake sheet. Remember this fake chic? They're going to have like a musical version. They'll have a number where she's rushing to get to tea and somehow nails some old lady crossing the street. Or how about that scene where she was yelling at her royal protection officer? Stand back, royal protection, because you know you just shouldn't be messing with me. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Oh man. Yeah, they're gonna have something like an Evita, but it's gonna feature a um shall we say a um not racial a sexually ambiguous prince, right? A sexually ambiguous prince and a very short, stocky, a very short, stocky princess named Sophie. Yeah. Yes, it's going to be the Edwina and Sophie story. Yeah, a little stick figure of a prince marries a stocky female trucker like princess or I'm sorry, PR firm owner just as she runs her company into the ground. Let's see. I think the queen gave these lavish homes to her children because the government recognized that they could use these homes for market value. Uh, she gifted it to them to keep it in the monarch's grasp. Okay. But they got so many properties, though. They got so many properties. I mean, they lease a lot of cottages and like Diana grew up on the Sandringham estate in one of those little cottages or whatever they had there. So they do have a lot. So I don't think it's possible to keep a lot of these places off the market just by leasing them to members of the family because they have such a huge portfolio. Now, in terms of like estates, I think there's like what 22 of them. But as for the individual buildings on these estates, I don't think anybody knows the exact number. Yeah, I don't think anybody knows the exact number. I mean, because some of these are owned outright by the family, and then some of them belong to the Crown Estate. So, one thing's for certain only they are allowed to use them, unless they lease them. And then also, I do believe that, what is it, St. James Palace? Or where's the palace where Michael Douglas and that what's her name? They live in one of those places, right? They live in an apartment at one of the palaces, I think. Is it St. James Palace? So yeah, I don't know. Um, I'm sure that if you count the individual apartments that are available, or I won't say available, but the individual apartments amongst all of the royal residents and also the cottages. I mean, who ever heard of Adelaide Cottage until, you know, those two misfits tried to move into it? Didn't know it exists, just like the Frogmore Cottage. Did not know it exists. Let's see. Andrew Lloyd Webber is real and alive. Really, I thought he was long dead. No, he just looks deceased, but he is quite alive. You know, he got enough money to keep him around for a long time. So, you know how that is. He looks ornery enough to just live to spend his money. Let's see. Baron Andrew Lloyd Webber is. Oh, wait. That's the wrong one. Which one am I looking at? Oh, there it is. Apparently, back in 1997, they wanted to make Andrew's home into a hotel or something. I think they had a buyer set up. Okay. Okay. And don't forget, Admiral Hall had a family living there until they were evicted by the Queen so that Will and Kate could move into their forever home, their country retreat. Not to be confused with the huge renovation at the public expense for their apartment at Kensington Palace. Not to be confused with another property up in Scotland on the Balmoral estate. I didn't even know Balmoral Castle had multiple properties, but Burgh Hall, where Charles usually stays, I do believe that's on the Balmoral estate, right? And then there's the place that Willie has. Then there's that little cabin where the Queen would go and have dice games or whatever she was doing. You know, the one where that guy and that woman was sitting in the Queen's seat. And who knows how many other outbuildings and properties they have, or should I say cottages they have on the Balmoral estate, because it's so massive, it's almost hard to know. Oh well. Yeah, one thing about the monarchy is that it reveals itself slowly. Okay, Prince Edward pays peppercorn rent on the 120-room Surrey mansion. The truth. Now, the blatant lie, Prince Edward paid market value for his Surrey country mansion, unlike Andrew. Prince Edward's lease details revealed it's very different to Andrew's, Prince Andrew's. Yeah. So one of the squatties posted this just to let people know that they are not the same. They are quite different. I don't know why the press is itching to say something about it, but that seems to be what they want to do is to drag them for it. And you know what? I am here for the dragging. I'm rather enjoying it. Mm-mm. Uh-oh, what was that? Wow. Okay. That looks weird. Oh, I spilled some water on it. No wonder. Okay. All right. And take a look there. So that is Prince Edward's peppercorn rent deal on Bagshot Park, branded obscene. That house is massive. Those wings off to either side are massive. It is quite an impressive house. It The roof of the house is quite impressive. It really is an impressive house. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you for your comment. Let's see. So Andrew, Andrew left one palace to an even larger palace. I wonder if Charles is on the list, and that's how he found Camilla. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the super chat. Okay. Oh, look at that. Costmore Cottage. Get it? Instead of Frogmore, Costmore. Costmore Cottage. Now, apparently, after Harry and Meghan spent 2.4 million pounds on Frogmore, now workmen go in to prepare it for shamed Andy. Well, there are those who believe that Andrew, the sick old man, is actually moving into Frogmore. I don't know if that is true or not, but that's what they say, is that Andrew, the sick old man, is moving into Frogmore. But I don't know. I don't know if I can believe that. I don't know if we should give that any oxygen. Could be, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because it seemed like he did not want it when they offered it to him, when they were willing to buy him out. I really do believe that the whole point of him trying to stay is that he really wants to leave that house to his daughters. And that would make sense. I mean, who knows? There are people that say that he has a lot of money, that he and Sarah are quite well off. And then there are some of those that say that at least Andrew doesn't have anything. But who knows? Who knows? We don't know if the Queen Mother left him a nice sum. We don't know what the Queen left him, considering how the Queen has looked out for him in every other way. I wouldn't doubt that she left him a nice sum of money. Oh no, we don't want that to happen. Somebody's got to go and represent us. So, what did I mean about erasing history or rewriting history? Meet Ruth. Ruth Stainer, trainee reporter. Ruth Stainer. Ruth Stainer joined Daily Mail in September of 2024. On the graduate scheme, she then spent 3 months at the Scottish Daily Mail on placement. This is the fresh face of hate as far as I'm concerned, because Ruth is going to tuck right in with the rest of the hateful, bitter, evil, mean-spirited writers at the Daily Mail. I mean, she seems like such a fresh-faced, sweet, polite young lady, but behind those eyes is someone who is obviously ambitious, someone who may be lacking morals, because how else do you explain this? How else do you explain this? Ruth is the author of this article. Why Meghan's first public engagement with the late Queen was carried out too early in her royal career. In her opinion, Meghan went on her first outing with the Queen too early. The Queen invited her, but obviously Queen Elizabeth did not have enough wisdom to realize that that was a bad idea, right? Now it says right there in June of 2018, Meghan and the Queen opened Cheshire Mersey Gateway Bridge in Chester Story House Theatre before attending a lunch together at the town hall. So this was a train trip for grandmother-in-law and granddaughter-in-law. And if we all recall, the Queen was hoping that Harry and Meghan, the president and vice president of the Commonwealth, is the titles that she gave them, would somehow help keep the Commonwealth together. Because very wisely, Queen Elizabeth did not trust Charles and her little doofus grandson, William. She did not trust that they would keep the Commonwealth intact. And as the way things are turning out, you can see that she was very wise to have her doubts. So, of course, having a woman of color marry into the royal family, having a woman of color address people in the Commonwealth, I mean, that would be a gift that just keeps giving. But it was not meant to be, because the Sussexes were driven out of the family. They were bullied and berated. They were leaked and briefed upon by the likes of Kensington Palace and Clarence House, to the point where they had no choice but to go. The collaboration between the tabloid media and the left behind royals was way too much. So they left. But we're supposed to believe this version of history, where the Queen made a huge mistake by inviting the Duchess of Sussex to accompany her. Anybody that wants to be fair in their view of the events as they happen, anybody would know that Meghan completely aced out her role as a royal princess. Meghan represented the crown in a way that I don't think they had ever seen before. And yet, someone who came ready to work, able to work, someone who could innovate, someone fast on their feet, was driven out of the family. And so the Queen's goal, well, you can forget about that, because Charles and Willie, Godzilla and Kate, jealous, hateful, envious people that they are, just was not going to allow that to happen. Wow, look at all those altered pics. This isn't Getty. Getty, rather. Thank you very much, Lex, for the super chat. Well, yeah, they found photos to reinforce this idea that the Queen was having a miserable time. Like on the right, I'm pretty sure they were listening to God Save the Queen. On the left, Meghan gently waving goodbye. And of course, look at the left there. In the video, you can literally see the Queen wiping something from her eye. They found photos, they handpicked photos, or they took screenshots, took some of the slides from the videos, the frames, that is, of the video. They reinforced the article. Well, because it reinforces the storyline. Now, of course, I took the time to find a few pictures of the Queen in fits of giggling. The Queen actually at some point was so animated, moving her hands around like she was driving a car. Maybe she was telling Meghan about how Philip broke that woman's arm or something. But you remember when the Queen had her hands up like she was driving a car? Oh, and that's when Philip broke that poor woman's arms. Anyway, I mean, those few photos that they selected, nothing could be further from the truth. But that wasn't the point. The point was to reinforce this idea that Meghan was not fit for purpose. That was the point. To reinforce this idea that Kate was the perfect princess. As a matter of fact, they even have a picture of Kate and the Queen smiling together. How convenient. Now, that's not the version of that day that I recall. As a matter of fact, it was very different. The Queen was not exactly happy when she went out on an occasion with Kate. Allow me to show you. Let me see. Lex says those aren't frames. Meghan's purse disappears. Modified. Let me see. Ooh. You know what? I didn't notice that. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? These photos, these two photos right here, I got rid of that. What's her name? That was in the background. You know, that one back there, Samantha the Panther. Yeah, I got rid of Samantha the Panther from the background of these two images. So maybe I did that myself because I cannot stand to look at her face. I really cannot stand it. I think she's the embodiment of evil. But also, this right here, this is an image or images. You can see the Queen, as Meghan said. The Queen said, "Here, Meghan, you could use my blanket too," or whatever she said. The Queen was so happy with Meghan that day. I mean, they really, really bonded. But that is not the version that they will ever present publicly again. Those days are over with. Those days are over with. There will never be a time when that tabloid media is going to tell the truth about this outing. Now, this is the picture in the article of Kate and the Queen, right? But let me show you some other images from that day. How about Kate getting out of the car where Kate showed up for this outing with the Queen? They didn't take the train, by the way. They show up for this outing with the Queen, and Kate's wait, I don't know if they took the train or not. But anyway, Kate looked like she's working for one of those third world airlines, right? Where they hire people literally from the streets, or maybe they find somebody who worked in one of them houses and asked them, "Do you want to be?" Yeah, do you want to be a flight attendant, a stewardess? Yeah, is that what you want? So yeah, they found somebody. What country is that? The first lady is from. They probably got her from one of them kind of countries. Anyway, uh, what's the name of the airline? Skyho. Skyo. Yes, Skyo. It's spelled Skyohoe. Skyo. Skyo Airlines. Anyway, that's probably the one. I don't know. Oh man. But no, seriously though. I think that I think that this really demonstrates. Also, look at the queen right here. Look at the way the queen is looking away from her. Now, see, I could easily, if I was writing an article, I could easily pick and choose photos that I think really tell the story about this meeting with Kate and the Queen. Also, I can give you even more evidence of exactly the nature of their relationship. The Queen and Kate rarely crossed each other's path unless it was for work. Rarely. There were no more outings. After this, there were no more outings with Kate and Queen Elizabeth. None. There were a few with Camilla, Kate, and the Queen. But other than that, Queen Elizabeth and Kate Middleton were not close. Just like Kate and Charles were never close, even though they tried to spin this story about how Charles and Kate were so close. They have never been close. Kate has only ever been close to William, and even they are not really all that anymore. Kate better not cough or sneeze. Exactly, because it's designed to slide up. I mean, look at this. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. Now compare that to what Meghan wore. The very dignified dress that Meghan wore. Well below the knee. Well below the knee. And when they were seated together, they mirrored one another. Meghan had enough sense entering that family not to show too much. But Kate, she comes in there looking like she worked in one of them houses. Yeah, there you go. But they didn't include these photos. They didn't include these photos. Just that one. Just that one where the Queen politely smiled at whatever dumb joke Kate said that probably didn't make sense to anybody but Kate. And even she probably didn't get it. And of course, how could they have been close considering that the Queen had said that Kate was lazy and Kate needs to get a job? The Queen was saying what everybody else was thinking. Now, the palace could have refuted. They could have, made a fuss about it, but they didn't because the Queen wanted her to work. Instead of embarrassing yourself and embarrassing this family by sitting around doing nothing from day to day, she really ought to get a job, and she didn't. Now, that little thing she had a jigsaw, if you want to call that work, fine. But other than that, Kate didn't do anything. But Kate married into the family. There's Meghan right there behind the Queen. You know, the person that everybody said did not like Meghan. And then what about this? This is another one where they manipulate things. They will find images that shows Meghan looking sly and the Queen looking angry. Yeah, they'll find something like that. They will not ever show you a video because they could add the video to the articles at the Daily Fail, but they're not going to do anything that looks remotely positive. Not anymore. All of it has to seem covert and combative. Now, Cameron Roy. Cameron Roy came to the Daily Mail just like this other person, Ruth. He came there just like her, right out of school and right into writing hateful articles. One of the articles right here, how Justin Welby fell under the spell of Harry and Meghan. A lot of the stuff that they write is really revisionist history. They don't usually write about the current stuff. What they do is they get on the social media and they scour, you know, the media, social media, looking for something that they could write about. They go to the hate channels and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, they have an article. How about this? The two reasons why Meghan and Harry did not want Archie to use Earl of Dumbarton title. Now, Cameron Roy wrote this in May of 2025. That is the same argument that was made by Camilla Tominey. The only difference is Robert Jobson set her straight. Robert Jobson set her straight. But this one, I'm pretty sure there's no mention from Robert Jobson. They did not want Archie being called the Earl of Dumbarton because it begins with the word dumb. Now, you know that is a talking point that comes from one of the derangers. That's a deranger talking point. But I'll tell you who is dumb, and that's Camilla Tominey, because she repeated it as though she had made it up herself. Hold on, let me find it. This is when I realized that Camilla Tominey was stupid, that she was a dum-dum. This is when I realized. Exclusive. Harry and Meghan rejects Earl of Dumbarton title for Archie because it contains the word dumb. Now, Camilla Tominey actually wrote an article for the Telegraph, which is supposed to be like a cut above the Daily Mail. And that's when Robert Jobson had to chime in. The Earl of Dumbarton already, I'm sorry, Harry is the Earl of Dumbarton already. When he is in Scotland, Archie is the heir to that title. So it is not for Archie to use. Nobody is bestowing the title Earl of Dumbarton on Archie. That is something he will inherit. So it's not really something that Harry and Meghan will accept or reject. He is simply going to be the Earl of Dumbarton. That is just the silliest thing. This is some of the best evidence as to how low they would stoop It was so dumb that Robert Jobson could not contain himself. He publicly humiliated Camilla Tominey because what she said was so stupid and misleading. Even he couldn't stand the idea that people would hear something as dumb as that. Stupid. This is the same person, Camilla Tominey. Meghan made Kate cry. This is the same person who was so excited. Oh my goodness. She almost was brought to sexual ecstasy because of the excitement of telling the public that Meghan said that Archie was a voracious reader. Right? Remember that? Meghan said Archie was a voracious reader. And of course, at Archie's age, that would be virtually impossible. It would be virtually impossible at that age. But she couldn't wait to tell it. And so they confronted her on This Morning. Philip Schofield confronted her. And then Philip Schofield told her what Meghan actually said. Meghan said that Archie has a voracious appetite for books. And no sooner does she finish reading the book than Archie would say, "Read it again, mommy. Read it again, mommy." But Camilla Tominey wanted to tell the world how Meghan thinks her child is a genius. And this is the look she had on her face when Philip Schofield said, "That is not what Meghan said." It's been a couple of times when Philip Schofield has called her out for making up stuff. Now, I can understand something as ridiculous as that coming from Cameron Roy. I can understand that. He's new to the game. Shouldn't have happened, but he's new to the game. But Camilla Tominey, a veteran reporter, so excited, so quick to want to say, "Aha, I got you." They don't want to use the title Earl of Dumbarton because it has the word dumb in it. Meaning, of course, that Harry and Meghan is so unsophisticated, so doubtful of their children's character that they would have fear that a royal prince would be teased by his classmates because of the title, the Earl of Dumbarton. Really, that's an insult to Americans, because what she's really saying is that Americans are so silly, stupid, ignorant, unsophisticated that we would hear the Earl of Dumbarton and instantly make a joke out of it. Anyway, the point is they have brought in a new one. And of course, as I said, meet Ruth Stainer, because that's her future. That's her future. What happened to the days when someone like a Ruth Stainer would graduate from college, graduate from university, and they would write about things that really matter, like a genocide in Gaza or arms sales or those kind of things? Climate. There's what else? Migrants. What happened to the days when you wrote about stuff like that? You wrote about civil rights, or maybe you would write about the NHS or something like that, right? No, what she's going to write about in the future is how Meghan was not ready, right? How Meghan was not ready to go on an outing with Queen Elizabeth. Something that happened, 6 years ago? 7 years ago? Only for the next person to come and write about the same thing in the next 6 to 12 months, if it takes that long, with a new version of Meghan wasn't ready. It's like a revolving door, isn't it? Even though the real pictures say something else, we're supposed to believe that the Queen was just so outraged, so bored with Meghan, and what a mistake she made by asking Meghan to take that train ride with her when she could have been spending her time with a real airhead or air hostess like Kate Middleton, the laziest person in the family. There's Cameron Roy. That's him right there. Well, let's see. Daily Mail, female, Irish Daily Mail, MSN, US, should I say, Australia, MSN Canada, MSN Ireland, Malaysia, MSN. Oh, he's writing about money. MSN Singapore, South Africa, and more. Data journalist, Daily Mail, previously a reporter at the Press Journal and Evening Express. Oh, God. Views my own Cameron. Yeah, that's the other person that they just brought in a couple of years ago. Same thing. This was one of his first big articles. The exam that put straight A student Meghan in her place after an internship in Argentina. She thought she was destined for a career in the United States Diplomatic Service, but failed the exam. So could you pass it? With everything that's going on in the world, with everything that's going on in the world, you want to reimagine Meghan's academic history. We don't even know if that's true. We don't even know if that's true. But there you have it. So Meghan, the failure that she is, spent 7 years on television, which by anybody's matrix, if you are on a television show for 7 years, that means that show is going to bring you a residual income for the rest of your life in all likelihood, which is exactly what is happening. Meghan is still getting paid from Suits and whatever else she has residuals from. So yeah, it's just like with the deal with Netflix. I still cannot understand, how do you call someone a failure who has received $100 million, if that is the actual price, $100 million from Netflix. Someone who purchased a $30 million mansion for half the price. Someone who got an estimated $25 million from Spotify. How do you call someone a failure? Never mind where the contract went. The point is, the Sussexes did not feel coerced to do anything they did not choose to do. They recognized their power and they stuck by their principles. And they did what they wanted to do with that $100 million or that $25 million. So let's say they got $125 million when they first came to the US and purchased a house half the price, a mansion with God knows how many bathrooms. I don't see how loser and failure fits into that. I really don't. By anybody else's estimate, that would mean you came out on top. But because it's the Sussexes, they have branded them failures. The level of mental gymnastics that it takes to make something like that make sense. Please let me be a failure for $125 million. I want to be $100 million failure. I got to be $100 million failure. If I don't do that in my lifetime, then I would really be disappointed with myself. Let me see. I think that she and her communication people are starting to find a balance on pushing back against the lies. I think they have to start suing the same. Let's see. They are better betting on a long process. Well, I don't know if it would really pay off because just the volume of I mean, I do believe somebody needs to get sued. But when you sue someone, you only big them up. You're bigging them up. And that's the real setback or the drawback to that is that you're making that person infamous. However, if you don't sue, then you're saying that it's okay to make up huge lies like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Um, I would not rule out a lawsuit. I just could not really say so far exactly what type of story, since they've been in the U.S., warrants that type of thing. So that's a tough call. But they have people that are way above my pay grade that can help them sort that out. So I'm pretty sure if they do take that course, it would be well worth it. Ah, yes, Candace Owen has piped down a bit, hasn't she? Yep. Okay. So anyway, that's enough of those two misfits. Again, lazy, lazy, lazy. This is the version of Kate Middleton that the Queen did not have any use for. Also, staying on the topic of Kate, I don't know what's going on with that dress. I don't know if she's under some type of attack or what is going on with that dress. Kate's daring dash, half an hour of heroism. Listen to this, half an hour of heroism. What a triumph for the nation. Just days after the monumental feat of leaving her own front door, the Princess of Wales has once again braved the outside world with courage that would make Boudica blush. Kate Middleton has mingled with the hoi poily has mingled with the hoi polloi. Yeah, there you go. Hoi polloi. Forget the nurses pulling double shifts and the builders working in the rain. True grit is defined by Kate spending half an hour nodding politely at school children. And let's not underestimate the stamina required for such engagements. 30 minutes of small talk, handshakes, and the occasional wave as a marathon of endurance that mere mortals could never hope to complete. Anyone who dares suggest otherwise is clearly a card-carrying communist, plotting to overthrow the crown with their dangerous notions of ordinary work. To top it all, many of those children are Black. Kate has once again proved that stepping outside after only a few days' rest is worth the £500 million a year the monarchy cost us. That is absolutely brilliant. I don't know who wrote this, but you know what? I am going to give them their flowers. There you go. They deserve their flowers for that. I tell you, Kate Middleton is a profile of courage. She literally left the house and went and politely nodded her head and took pictures and waved for about 30 minutes. Someone should nominate her for the Nobel Peace Prize. Why she hasn't gotten it yet is a real travesty of justice. So, what's up with that dress? Why is it Kate looks like she is under attack from the stuff that she wears? It is clinging to her. It is grabbing her. It will not leave her alone. She has been having this problem lately where her clothes are literally attacking her. And I don't know why. There's this one, right? You see that? It's like, did they forget to put the, what do you call it? Those fabric sheets in the dryer or what? Kate is under siege in these clothes that she's wearing. Or is it just so cheap that it just won't stop touching her? I don't know. I mean, look at that. She is under attack. Also, I want you to take a note of the 1 and 2. See the 1 and 2? Again, it looks just like that famous picture of Will and Kate at the very first Earth flop, where you can see a little baby in a pram, mama and daddy, their pubescent teenager, on their way to Tesco to grab some carry out. And of course, that's when, much to their surprise, they saw a gathering of people and cameras and royal protection officers. And they just so happened to put those barriers up there, even though the crowd never came. As a matter of fact, the crowd never shows up. Where's the crowd? In their imagination. I mean, look at that. Those people behind Kate, that's the press. That is the press. If you flip the camera around, you see those two ladies back there on the right? That's the crowd. There's more royal protection, more police, more members of the press than there are actual people that are fans of Kate Middleton. There was no vigil outside of the hospital for Kate. Do you guys realize that? There was no vigil. There was no young women who idolized Kate Middleton that came there. Not necessarily that she would wave from the window, because she probably wasn't there anyway, but just so that they could talk to other people that love Kate Middleton, that want nothing but the best for Kate, so that they could pray and have fellowship with their other deranged fans. That didn't happen. You didn't see any massive delivery of flowers. You didn't even see her mama and daddy, because they didn't even come to the hospital. Kate was in the hospital, and the only person or persons that she saw was the medical staff, and according to the reports, King Charles III. Other than that, nothing. Nobody showed up. Nobody cared. Now, there's a chance that Camilla might have popped in there and pulled the curtain back and stuck her face out really fast. But oh, but I don't know. What would you prefer, Camilla or Charles with all them jowls and cherry lip gloss? Which would you prefer? I'd rather just be left alone if I was them. Lex says, it's an illusion. If you look hard enough, you see SOS. Thank you for that, Lex. Let's see. Yep. That was it. And ever since then, they have been trying to ride the Sussex's coattails. Oh, look at there. I'm telling you, that dress is attacking her so hard her legs are crossed. You see that? She's doing a crossover. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm telling you, something is wrong with her. I don't know why I'm thinking about Mom's Mabley or something. I don't know. I mean, she's not old enough to have that type of posture, I don't think. And then if you look at the photo on the right, I have a theory about that. I was wondering, why is her hair sticking out like that? I think, now listen, don't you all tell anybody I said this, but I think that whatever they've done to her face, they have pulled that skin so tight. They have pulled her skin so tight that the back of her hair is sticking up now. It probably doesn't go down. You know, one of those Invisalign, you know how they do that thing where they can tighten up everything? I think that's what happened. But whatever it is, they didn't pull they didn't pull her skin, her muscles or whatever so tight that the back of her hair is sticking up. I bet you it don't even go down. Even when she sleep, that hair's even when she's sleeping, that hair probably still sticking up like that. Yeah, because it's so much tension, you know, all that muscle being pulled and tucked. There's so much tension that her hair is sticking up. Yep, that's what happened. Uh anyway, no, I don't know what happened. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. They whatever what do they use, like fishing lines or whatever? It's some kind of something that they use that they put in there, and it's got like little teeth in it, and it pulls and tightens everything. I'm guessing that's what it was. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is. But whatever it is, it's got her hands turned around backwards and her hair sticking. Whatever it is, it's got her hair sticking up and her hands turned around backwards. Something is not right. Something is not right. And even that suit that she had on the other day, that is supposed to be like a really designer suit, right? And even this, it looks like she's got the pants on backwards. Now, if you're gonna wear like the wide leg trousers, they're not supposed to fit like that. It's like she has them on backwards. Yeah. Well, I don't know, something wrong with her. They starched her hair. You think maybe she laid her hair on the ironing board and they just went across it with the iron and put some spray starch on it? They may have. Let me take a look. It does kind of look like that. Yeah, it does kind of look like that. Yeah, like they wash their hair with that little blue peel. Is it the blue peel or the purple peel? Like they wash their hair with that little blue peel. Something. Anyway, yeah, they're none of her clothes are fitting her right these days. Either clothes are really cheap or something is scaring the crap out of them because they just won't let her go. And remember when she got attacked by that ugly skirt she was wearing? Ooh, that is the most hideous skirt I ever seen in my life. Hideous. Hideous. She looks like an innkeeper's wife. This looks like someone who works on an old country estate somewhere, like the nanny that raised all the children. That's what she looks like. Like she works on some old country estate. Like if you go up to the servants' quarters, or if you find yourself walking the grounds of the house and you see some shabby looking person walk up to you, no way you would think that that was the future queen. No way. They just, you know what? We should send some of those dryer sheets. We just need to send them some of those sheets for their dryer so that the static electricity won't cause the clothes to attack her like that. And William is so disgusted by that outfit that she's wearing. You see there? He's politely smiling on the left, and then on the right, he's just like, oh God, why did she wear that? He's so glad to be there with her, isn't he? Look how glad he is to be with her. I wonder if they even know what they're supposed to do with that. Is that a bale of hay? I wonder if they even know what they were supposed to do with that. That is crazy. That is crazy. But you know what? That's the life that she wanted. She spent 10 years chasing after William so that she can help to bundle some hay. 10 years she spent with him. But look, when she's not doing that, at least she gets to go to Wimbledon and be the center of attention as if she actually won something. Oh, is she making her next week? Is that what she's doing? She's getting some raw material for her next weave. Oh, they're getting some dinner for Camilla. Anyway, one of the squatties put this together. This is a collage of Kate cooking with her jewelry on. Remember, they were really dragging Meghan for wearing her rings, but on every photo you see there, Kate is cooking and preparing food for other people wearing jewelry on her hands. One day, nope, that's what is that one for? Oh, this is for that outing. This is for that outing that she went on. That was like some big rollout. You know, every so often they'll have a big rollout where the palace KP, they'll go to all the newspapers and tell them what Kate is about to do so that it can be a big story because they're trying to take the momentum away from Meghan. Let's see. Prince William is skipping Christmas lunch with his father after long simmering tensions between the monarch and his heir were made worse by the palace shambolic handling of the Prince Andrew affair. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys heard this, but William is not going to the Christmas luncheon. Now, that is a tradition in that family. And once again, William refused to participate. He simply refused to participate. He's not going, and that's that. And nobody can make him go. Yep, once again, William and Kate, no shows. And William has made it very public. Instead of waiting to the last minute, he's given them plenty notice that he won't be there. William and Charles' office did not respond to requests for comment, but a source told the royalists, that's Tom Sykes, told the royalists William and the family will do their duty and go to church with big smiles plastered, or what is that? Big smiles pasted on, but they will. Oh, I cannot see that. Hold on a second. That is too small. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, with big smiles pasted on, but they are not expected for Christmas lunch at the big house. It has been an extremely difficult year for William and Catherine. William and his family are expected to retreat to their private home, Anmer Hall, after the 11 a.m. church service on Christmas Day. This will mark the third year in a row they have skipped lunch with William's dad. This is the third time that the heir to the throne has skipped Christmas lunch with his father. Now, remember, they recently tried to paint this picture that Charles and William were close and that William went up to Scotland so that he and Charles could have some one-on-one time with no courtiers, no press. That was a lie. William went up there to go shooting at birds or ducks or whatever he was shooting at, but he was not up there to visit his father. There was no schedule or anything for them to be together. That's the only reason why William was in Scotland the same time his father was. But they have absolutely no business to conduct together. It is rare for them to be on an outing, just like it was rare for Camilla. I'm sorry, not Camilla, but Kate and Queen Elizabeth to be out together. It just does not happen. It is very rare. Now, the big events like Troop and the Colors, all that kind of stuff, yeah. But the smaller things, the little bread and butter stuff, as Princess Anne spoke of, not so much. Not only do they not really do that with Charles, but they don't even do it for anybody. They will make videos doing things that they want to do. So, very shameful. Very, very shameful. Yeah, I think some of it has to do with um, Charles. Like when William was down in Brazil, and Charles gave that knighthood to what's his name, Beckham, right? Among other things. So there's probably a bunch of stuff, but those are just a few. So yeah, William will be king. And there was actually, oh my goodness, I did not want to share that with you guys because I think it's, I don't know, I just didn't want to. But there is something that they were sharing, say it like they had a front page of the newspaper mentioning the death of King Charles and a picture of William with the crown on his head already. Now, that was in really poor taste. I don't know who posted that. Um, I didn't even take much of a look at it either. But yeah, that was pretty tacky. Let me see who posted that. Oh yeah, don't forget Kate Middleton's Christmas thing is coming up too. They're going to record it, right? They're going to record it and then they're going to show it on another date. It will not be live. Let's see. God, I don't know who posted that. Oh well, I'm not going to bother with it. Well, that was weird though. Yes, Bunny Rose, they want him gone. And Tom Sykes is not better because Tom Sykes is the one who said that Charles should shift power to William now. If I was him, I wouldn't do it. That would mean William could cut back on his care if he chooses to. Nah, that's okay. You just wait. And listen, I wouldn't let that person near me. I wouldn't let William near me if I was Charles. I wouldn't even want him near me. I'm just saying, I'm keeping it 100. I would not want that man near me. I wouldn't trust him. I would not trust him. I'm going to tell you my prediction. William is not interested in doing the work. We all know that. William seems to think that once he can take better ownership of the monarchy, once he has full ownership, should I say? Okay, I'm gonna let you guys listen to it though. Let me set it. There is a fake newspaper headline: "The nation mourns monarch," with a picture of Charles. It's on someone's iPad. You know what? I can just take a screenshot of this. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to play the sound. It is really disgusting. I don't know where this originates from, but it is disgusting. The sound quality is not great, but look at that. Look at that. Where the hell did that come from?
Bizarre is the sort of.
One day in the future, the nation will be facing the loss of its monarch.
I'm sorry, it's buffering. Wow, I'm so sorry.
One day in the future, the nation will be facing the loss of its monarch.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of His Majesty, King Charles III.
There's no ceremony that takes place on the death of a monarch. There's no coronation needed for a new king or a new queen. The moment the heart stops beating of the reigning monarch, the next in line becomes king.
There's an extraordinary thing about an heir, but
Yeah, so that looks like it's from a documentary. It looks like it's from a documentary. William, when he becomes king. That's what it says. William, when he becomes king. And it is from a documentary. Isn't that creepy? Hey, Hazel Jones, have you seen this on social media? Or have you seen the documentary? I suppose it's from the UK, but yes, it's very creepy. I don't like that. I do not like that. Not even for Charles, even though, you know, that's Charles, but still, I think it's weird. Let's see. Prince William and Kate Middleton affair scandal. Royal biographer claims devastated prince barred contact with close friend. Ordered heir to throne to counseling to save marriage. Now, that was in OK Magazine, and you know, they don't mind going there, right? However, Andrew Lonnie issued an apology over the past few weeks because of commitments, writing articles, media appearances, and touring literary festivals. I employed an experienced writer to work on my Substack. He did an excellent job bringing in subscribers to the extent the Substack was number 8 in bestseller charts. Yeah, it was number 8 in the bestseller charts. The breaking news story, many of which hit the mainstream media, but there was an unfortunate lapse over the weekend when the story was run without my knowledge. It was immediately taken down. That person has been replaced and in future I will be the sole author of the Substack. Wow, shifting the blame. This will give me an opportunity to share research which was not included in entitled. Oh, so he's going to share some more stuff about Andrew, the sick old man. Now, only about 10% was used, and to reveal new findings, it will be based on the meticulous research for which I have become known over the space of 5 books. Anyway, that's an apology, and I think it had to do with that article about Rose Hanbury. He is blaming someone else for it. Isn't that interesting? Yep, be careful what you wish for. Now, I have another soundbite to play for you. This one is from Robert Jobson, and it's about William.
He actually like Robert? Is he going to be a good king?
Well, I hope he listens
Difficult, doesn't
he's tricky. I think that there's no doubt that the king used to get on better with Harry.
Really?
There's
Why do you say that?
That's what I understand to be the truth. I mean, I think that the people that know them well said that was part of that. They had the heartbreaking side of this whole fallout was that the King and Harry should sort of see eye to eye more. They used to have more time. They should get each other more. Whereas I think with William and the King, there's always been clashes over the ivory in the royal collection. Clashes over just little things.
The appearance of George, I remember in a photograph on a desk of they had a massive row about that.
He can be quite, not controlling, but he's a bit tricky. He's got a bit of a temper. Like
well, you use the following words to describe William. You say he's occasionally been over assertive, can be difficult to handle, with aides approaching sensitive matters carefully. Despite his public composure, insiders describe William as prone to mood swings.
I think that's fair, as I wrote it. But also, I think that if you go and speak to a few people off the record, they would say that's probably being generous.
What's he actually like, Robert? Is he going to be a good king?
Well, I hope he listens.
Difficult, doesn't he?
He's tricky. I think that there's no doubt that the king used to get on better with Harry.
Really?
There's
why do you say that?
That's what I understand to be the truth. I mean, I think that the people that know them well said that was part of the heartbreaking side of this whole fallout was that the King and Harry should sort of see eye to eye more. They used to have more time. They should get each other more. Whereas I think with William and the King, there's always been clashes over the ivory in the royal collection. Clashes over just little things.
The appearance of George, I remember in a photograph on a desk of they had a massive row about that.
He can be quite, not controlling, but he's a bit tricky. He's got a bit of a temper. Like
well, you use the following words to describe William. You say he's occasionally been over assertive, can be difficult to handle, with aides approaching sensitive matters carefully. Despite his public composure, insiders describe William as prone to mood swings.
I think that's fair, as I wrote it. But also, I think that if you go and speak to a few people off the record, they would say that's probably being generous.
Okay, so I played that twice. William and his mood swings. He could be difficult. He can be quite assertive, and so on and so on. Now, they danced around the obvious. Which is what they're prone to do. You can see that Robert Jobson was being very careful with his words. Very careful, lest he could lose future access. I got a feeling that he's not going to have much access to William anyway, because he has said certain things about William that I believe may have ticked him off a bit, unless whichever paper he works for, if he works for a Murdoch paper, let me see, I think Robert Jobson writes for Daily Mail, but if he wrote for a Murdoch paper, they would probably have a better chance of tolerating him than with the Daily Mail. But then again, William probably would take the advice of the Daily Mail, and if they want Robert Jobson in that circle, he probably will remain. But Robert Jobson has let out quite a few truth bombs on William over the years, including that article where he wrote about it was time for William to grow up, referring to his laziness and lack of focus. That was when William went skiing rather than showing up for it was for Commonwealth Day. He took his family skiing, which was a real no-no. But William has done it before that, and he's done it since, and it's not likely that just because he's king. But anyway, this is my prediction. I believe William is banking on the idea of becoming king, and that he's going to suddenly become more focused in his work. He probably believes he's going to work harder once he has the full authority of the crown and the throne. I think he believes that he is going to be a different person. But I believe William is going to be a more authoritative version of what he is already. I would not suspect that he's going to change his character or change his work ethic just because he's king. I think he's going to do less, not more, but less. And that's why they moved to that hideaway. So when he needs to get away, he can get away. Or he may not live there at all, and he just wants people to think that he's there so that he can romp around with his friends whenever he wants to without too much focus or gaze from the public. So there you go. That's my prediction. Let me see. Mary H says, that's William Middlebaum, anger against Princess Meghan Sussex. Let's see. In her face, and Princess Meghan told William Middlebaum to take his finger out of her face. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, William is going to be awful. He's going to be a terrible king. Terrible. I am not going to hold out hope that he is going to have some type of epiphany and all of a sudden he's going to be fair and beneficent and all them other big words. I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think he's going to remain the volatile person that he is right now. And none of that will change. If anything, he's going to be a worse version of the William that we know. You know, we have not seen much of Charles. Okay, what does that one say? Harry is constantly being blamed for causing old people stress when the real culprit are people like Andrew and William. And that is so true. That is so true. Andrew in particular. The idea that the Sussexes were leaving, and then they tried to convince people that the Sussexes did not mention anything to the Queen, when of course we know that they were in negotiation long before that story hit the news, right? But the press would rather people believe. Wasn't there one of the newspaper articles they had it in big print? They blindsided the Queen. They didn't even tell the Queen. And to show you the power of suggestion, John Lowry, whatever his name is, that super fan, that little short guy that's at every event with the Royals, at least he used to. They interviewed him, and he's like, "Well, they should have told the Queen. You can't just do that. They should have told the Queen." He believed, in all of his heart, he believed that Harry and Meghan actually just sprung it on the Queen like the day before they left. Like, we're leaving. We're going to North America. We're never coming back. That is what they want people to believe. That did not happen. The Queen knew all about their struggles, and the Queen had recognized the idea that there should be a Sandringham summit. But that was not a surprise. They did not blindside the Queen. But that is how they framed it, so that Harry and Meghan seem as brutal and mean and cruel. There were so many other things going on in the family. And the fact that Philip, who survived to age 99, was it? And Queen Elizabeth, age, 97? 96, 97? Whatever they've been through, to try and put that blame on Harry and Meghan instead of the fact that, that Charles brought Camilla into the family. Charles with his cash for honors. There's a whole lot of things that Charles and Camilla had done to hurt Queen Elizabeth, to hurt Prince Philip. They make no mention of it. And then, of course, William, who didn't spend any time with Queen Elizabeth. Kate Middleton and William, the two people who refused to work. And therefore, 90-something-year-old Queen Elizabeth, 90-something-year-old Prince Philip, among all the other octogenarians and them old septuagenarians, whatever they are, all those old people in the family that should be retired or at least doing less work, they have to step it up because of William and Kate. But yet Harry and Meghan are the ones who cause distress. How do you justify that? Make that make sense. They could not retire. They could not slow down because of Will and Kate. And even now, Charles, who has cancer, is working more than William. Where's the press? Where's the outrage? William has been nursing the excuse about Kate's non-existent cancer from day one. And the usual default mode between William and Kitty, well, we're raising the future king. Our family comes first. And our family comes first mean we're going to the Isle of Mystique. That's what it means. Yeah, they were hoping that the Sussexes would do all the work. And William is furious that they're not there to do it. William has a resentment that includes refusing to work. He's competing with his brother who's not even there. And he just refuses to work. Not that he was going to do much anyway, but still. And the press is covering for them. The press is giving them cover by going after the Sussexes. Oh, how I wish someone would really, someone with reach, with a voice, could really call them out on this. Well, anyway, despite all of the time that Kate has not actually worked, all of the beauty sleep that she's had all these years, all the rest and relaxation, the almost seemingly trouble-free life that she has, you wouldn't know it by looking at her. You wouldn't know it by looking at her. What you see is lots of age and wisdom. Look at her. She's got wisdom written all over her face. Wisdom, 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 life experience, wisdom. Deep grooves of knowledge and learning. Just like almost like the Grand Canyon, all of those crevasses of knowledge and learning. That's what she has. And it's written all over her face. So I guess when you don't really work, you can look that good. Right? The way she takes command of a group of smart people, just leaning in, yearning to hear her wise words, hoping that they can understand that weird dialect that she speaks, right? That's what they're hoping, is that they can understand that sophisticated dialect, something that comes straight out of Buckleberry. They really should have some T-shirts. Remember how they had the Straight Out of Compton? They should have T-shirts that say Straight Out of Buckleberry. Straight out of Buckleberry. Anyway, there's a place in this world for all of us, and I'm pretty sure if you lean in just enough, or if you can somehow arrange subtitles, you would know exactly what Kate is talking about. But until then, you just have to kind of fill in the spaces for her. Like this strange language.
You'll face the daily challenge of finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact. Leaders, you'll face the daily challenge of finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact.
You see there? Between profitability and having a positive impact. And that's all Kate Middleton wants for this world, is for us to know the difference between, the difference between patine. You know, that's the sound that is made when you spit a watermelon seed into a bucket. It makes a sound that goes patine, patine. Yeah. So if you eat watermelon or pomegranates or whatever, and you start spitting those seeds out, if you're wondering where have you ever heard that word before, it wasn't actually a word. It was actually a sound. Patine.
You'll face the daily challenge of finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact. Leaders, you'll face the daily challenge of finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact.
Well, I guess you would. It always comes down to being patine, profitability, and impact. Oh, well. Yeah. Remember, you guys, this is the royal family's secret weapon. That is the royal family's secret weapon. Kate Middleton. Look at there. She has them captivated. She has them leaning in, unsure what the hell she's talking about. But I guess they figured when they get to the, to the meeting part of it, then it'll be clearer. But that time never came. It just never came. Or it came and it went. Anyway, you all, thank you so much. I am done. Gosh, I had no idea that I was going to be on for over 2 hours. But yeah, I am done. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, moderators, as always, for keeping this a safe space. Love you guys. And I will see you all next time. In all probability, with all probability. Well, anyway, it's patine. 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 Yeah, remember, only a metal waste paper basket or garbage can or whatever makes that sound, a patine sound. Okay, cheers.